Hello, Sagittarius, and welcome to your final reading for the year. This is going to comprise 2 months, covering both November and December, and it's going to give you everything you need to make it through the year and basically end on a positive note. As always, by the way, you can use this for sun, rising, and moon. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. I have Mr. Apollo in the background chilling out. While he's holding space, we have a lot to talk about. As I meditated on your sign, there were 3 things that came to me. First of all, communication is going to be the key to success over the next 2 months. Basically fueling this, there's going to be 2 other things though, your clarity and your confidence. So let's talk about that and then we'll get into the communication thing. For the clarity, I feel like some of you need to take a step back. Think of like the 8 of Cups in the Minor Arcana. You might be overdue for a break, a vacation, you may be burned out a little bit. Before making a major decision, step back. Look at how far you've come, look at where you're at, check into the heart space and ask, is this what I want? If it is, perfect, continue. If it isn't, this is going to give you the second piece, the clarity, the vision to figure out what's next. So some of you are at a fork in the road and you're deciding, I think I want to do this. And we're close enough to the next year, but still with enough room in this year to really make that happen easily in 2026. So that's why if you can pause now and pivot, it'll make everything better for you in the next 12 months. And that's the goal anyway. The confidence piece, I think, is the harder one to work on. I think some of you are in a moment where it's kind of like the judgment card. You know what's coming. You know what's next. You know what your decision is. But the acceptance, the embracing of it could be a little bit delayed. So I'm hoping that this 60-day period for many of you can be an awakening and that you're going to be able to say with confidence and clarity, this is what I want. And that's how we bring it all together. The communication comes after these 2 pieces. Step back, get perspective, be confident in your intuition and your vision of what's right for you, and then convey it, communicate it, breathe life into it. And I feel like the very end of the year is going to be very action-oriented, like Knight of Swords, where things happen quickly. So as we take a look at all of the cards here, let's see where you can breathe. Let's see if there's any reason for you not to feel confident and how we can give you that confidence, and then how you can put that action plan together. I'm excited to see how it's all going to sort of play out. So why don't we shuffle the cards and get started? I know I get a bunch of questions about this, so I'll be using a newer deck today, Infinite Door. I believe it's independent. I'll make sure that I put a link to it in the description below. I usually tag all of my decks as well. And I'll make sure that I update my website with this too. All right, that being said, let's get started. Close your eyes, please. Imagine, if you will, that there's a beautiful column of light shining down from the sun above around your body, creating this infinite sort of line in both directions. You are connected to source energy here. You are safe. Let's welcome in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. May they bring guides, insight, and basically anything that you need to see for your highest good as we go through this. All right, let's begin with your catalyst. So in the catalyst position here, we have compassion for loved ones. May you be free from suffering. The card was reversed. Some of you may understand that there is so much going on with people around you that you're one person. You can't help everyone. You can't solve everything for everyone. And you know, I was talking about the importance of communication. I feel like for some of you, it's just a matter of creating a safe space for them to speak. Sometimes people don't want advice. They just want to be heard, and they want to be appreciated. And most importantly, as we can so beautifully see with this illustration, they want to be seen. So that's all you have to do sometimes. I hear what you're saying. I'm so sorry you're going through this. How can I help? Those 3 things validate and support someone. They don't always want a solution. They may just say, I don't know. I just needed to talk. And know that in this moment, that's enough. You don't have to be the doctor. You don't have to be the Mr. or Mrs. Fix-It. You can just be there. You may need that same level of support. Find someone in your life and set the expectations in the communication. So as I said, the clarity and the confidence and the communication, that Holy Trinity this month is going to be important. So be clear when you communicate as to what it is that you need in support. And when someone else asks for something, do the same. How can I help you? It's a great way to ensure that you have the key to success and that there's boundaries and expectations and a roadmap, okay? Compassion is just the key thing here too. Being able to step back and see it outside of your own head, imagining what were they thinking? Not in a judgmental way, but like literally, how did they get there? What was the thought process? You can ask them. Help me understand how you got to this point. All of these things can help out. All right, the way that this is organized is November is here, December here. We have connections in blocks, karma, and destiny there. And these are summaries for the months. So let's begin with karma. It's one of the best cards we could get in the karmic position, the star. The star is reversed, but it's still one of the greatest cards you can pull. Why, you ask? Because it represents a connection to source. And as we look at this Rider-Waite-Smith derivative card, what we see is the balancing energy, the flowing energy. And when you allow for source energy to come through you, or inspiration or creativity, things happen faster. Things are easier. And the universe is saying, don't make it hard on yourself. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. If there's a connection, engage. If there isn't, focus on something else. Even more importantly than this, what does the star do? It shines. And a reversed star is about muting your light. Karmically, there may be people in your life, parents, friends, society, etc., that want you to become less or dim yourself a little bit. And your sole opportunity in this moment is to say, no thanks. You're going to take the dimmer switch and go all the way to 100%. Because rather than going to a lower frequency, invite them to rise up. And if they don't, other people in the same frequency will come through. Let them meet your frequency. There's a new song by Demi Lovato where she's saying, like, we're meeting each other's frequency. And that's the whole idea. Don't mute, don't diminish, don't dim your shine, okay? There could also be some unexpected, maybe even uncomfortable attention coming to you because stars basically pull in opportunity, attention, scrutiny. That's all part of the thing when you're being seen. There's a little bit of literally the word celebrity is connected to this. So there might be something where people are just taking note. You've always done something, but right now they can see just a little bit more. How have I missed this? You're amazing. So you just might be a little bit uncomfortable with the attention. Instead of shying back and saying it's nothing, just say, you know what, I worked really hard on that. Thank you. Thanks for noticing. That means a lot. No false modesty, no dimming or muting of your light. Let people rise up to your new level of confidence, clarity, and just say thanks, okay? Very powerful karmic message there. All right, let's see what else is coming through. And we're going to begin now with the past energy for the month of November. And so just to clear it up here, we're in November 2025, and we're going to take a look at the past. So this is what you're bringing into the month. So it's the first of the 3 eights that I saw, the 8 of Cups. And beautifully illustrated here, someone's walking away from something to get clarity, not to say goodbye. They have to think, how do I feel in this mix? What part of me maybe got lost in this? Sometimes when you're in the throes of working too much, or you're in a really important relationship, or you've been working nonstop for months and months and months, you just forget, like, where am I? What's going on? So take a break if you can. If not, this can be meditation, because it'll help you get back to the star. This is a return. So meditation can be 5 minutes or it can be 2 hours. It depends on your time and your commitment, but make sure that you're starting and stopping the day with a certain period of time where you can tune in and say, this is who I am, this is where I am, this is what I want, and see if the world is matching up to that. This is a card of second chances. If there are words that have been left unsaid, if there are tasks that you need to finish, November's the time to do so. There may also be someone coming in from the past, an Aquarius or a soulmate, and this is your chance to resolve the karma with them. The big thing that I see here is you don't have to chase them and you don't have to mute your light. Equal binary stars, based on what I'm seeing. And getting out into nature can be very, very helpful and advantageous in this next chapter for you as well. What else here? I'm really looking at, it's almost like this person's going through an ace or a king or queen of wands moment. They're following through and following up on their intuition, on their passion, and taking tangible steps towards that journey. If not now, then when, okay? So that's a great way to kick off November. Let's see what's coming through next. All right, you have an Ace of Pentacles, but it's in the reverse position. The reversed Ace of Pentacles is saying it's okay to ask. If you want something, don't feel like you have to just wait for someone to come to you. Because sometimes the early bird gets the worm, and it's better to go into something and say, you know what? I'd like to hear more about this. I'd like to learn more about this opportunity. So at work, you're going to raise your hand and articulate and convey that clear vision of what you see yourself doing. In a relationship, you could ask someone out on a date. You might also present an idea to someone if you're trying to sell a product, service, or get someone interested. It's okay to do that. What I'm getting in my mind's eye is a peacock. And basically that's what they're doing. Look at me. Look at this. Consider this. And you want to do it with a sense of confidence and you have to believe that you have something to offer. That's the key here. Someone could also be requesting something of you. I'd like your help. They may be interested in you, and that might take you by surprise. They want to ask you out. There could be a contract in front of you, and you have to make sure that you're getting what you need on this one. With the star in reverse, they may want to take credit. Don't let them. If there's something that you're offering, make sure that you're negotiating something that's balanced, something that's even. Look at your overall expenditure of time, energy, and money. Does it pay out in the end of the day? Are you exhausted? Are you seeing diminishing returns on revenue? If so, advocate for more. I need more. Yes, I can do this, but only if I get this. So an ace, you can give, you can receive, you can ask. A reversed ace is usually about asking or showing that something's missing and requesting. Or reaching out for something that isn't quite there yet and trying to manifest it. You also don't have to accept something that doesn't feel right. You can push it back, or you can ask for more. Yes, but I need a little bit more, okay? Now let's take a look at what's coming through. We just looked at the past, the present. Let's see what this whole month is all about, the future. This is a month where your hard work is paying off. Typically, we see the sort of toiling energy associated with the Eight of Pentacles. Hard work, learning, expansion, but sometimes, like your eyes are too razor focused, there's blinders on. This is reminding you to look up, to look around, and know that everything that you're doing, all of this, like blood, sweat, and tears that we normally see in the Eight of Pentacles, is allowing those little pentacles to take flight. So keep wishing, keep dreaming, keep working, and know that this is a necessary component. Whatever it is that you're building or learning or creating, the work is worth it. Invest the time and the energy in November. It will pay off. So if you want to take a class, get education, or learn from a mentor, this is the time to do all of that. Put things into writing. If you're going through something that is extraordinary, which is what the star can be, make sure that you're taking time out of your schedule to record all of this. Step back, put it into writing, and know that in the future, this is going to help you figure out, maybe this could be a curriculum, this could be a book, this could be a teaching sort of opportunity, but share your experiences. First, you're going to record them, then you might share them. If you're working on something very close to completion, I really love the work ethic that's going into everything here. So don't give up. Continue to put time and energy into all those small details. I think the most important thing with this one is to look not just around and look up, but look optimistically towards the future. I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this because it's going to take me to the next level. The future's pretty bright as we're looking at November. I also see like expansion when it comes to, for those of you that might be feeling a lack of money or recognition, we see that coming into play where everything starts to feel better, okay? And then ultimately the takeaway for this month represents all of this work. All of these cards independently are good. There's nothing here that I'm worried about. So your takeaway for this month is the Ace of Wands. Again, we're looking at November. So this is saying I've created something, an opportunity. I have an idea. I'm following it through. You can think of the Ace in this sense almost like a relay race where you've done everything that you need to and then you hand it off. So when there comes this sort of realization or completion moment, know that you've done all that you need to do and you can move on. If we look really closely, that's a little scarab beetle there too. So this is rich, fertile, and it has the ability to go the distance. Think in a way that's different than what you've done before, because when I think of like what a scarab is, it's rebirth. So you may be able to pick up the pieces of something from the past and say, I'm going to try it completely differently this time because I've got nothing to lose. When you have an aha moment, when you have a light bulb sort of flicker in your head, follow through on that. Innovation, ideation, brainstorming, opportunities, passion. And there could be new love in your life. We'll look at that when we go into the expanded forecast. But like I said, if it is love, it could be an Aquarius or just someone from the past that you really connected with. And we see the passion there. But I think the two sort of fiery symbols here could be connected. This is an idea that you decide to breathe actual life into, okay? Beautiful energy. November's amazing. The middle of the month is when you're going to recalibrate. You have a good chance of getting a signature or an agreement or the resources that you need, and you have two aces. If you have two choices in front of you, pick the one where you feel the most connection. Don't force the connection. All right, before we get into the next month, let's see how everything is connecting. So we're going to look at the bridge here at the top. The connection is it's another, lo and behold, we have another 8. We have the 8 of Wands. So did we get every 8? We did. I just have to pause for a second. So we have 8 of Cups, 8 of Pentacles, 8 of Wands, 8 of Swords. I don't think that has happened before. It's the first time I've seen all the 8s. So we'll break that down in a second, but let's talk first about the 8 of Wands. All right, so this is a very unusual version of it. With this one, we see like this gigantic mask in the foreground and all the wands behind it. And it's saying, don't get lost in the shuffle. I'm going to pull the traditional 8 while we're talking. Because sometimes we lose ourselves. I talked about this earlier. We lose ourselves in a job, in a relationship, in our schedule or activities. I'm sure you know someone in your life where they don't have a free moment. So when they're alone, they'll call someone or text someone and go, 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 go. So here's your traditional 8 of Wands, and that's what it is. There's no people in the picture. There's somewhere those wands had to be thrown into motion, but you typically don't see the people. And this one is saying, is the busyness, is the activity actually creating a mask that you're hiding behind? I never noticed how many scarab beetles there were in this one, but we keep seeing a bunch of beetles. So this is a chance for you to shed that skin and say, you know what, that isn't allowing me to be present, to be still. And so one of the things that you can do between the 2 months is slow down long enough to make sure that you know who you are, that you don't get caught up in the moment, even if there's a lot of exciting things happening. By the way, great connection card. Like looking at the traditional one, things are moving quickly and they're moving in a productive and concise manner. But there may be so much of a regimented energy or action to it that you wonder, what am I doing? Why am I still doing this? What am I getting out of this? So take off the mask, pause, look around too and say, am I making an impact here? You're definitely productive, but is it the type of impact that you want? Is it what your soul signed up for? And once you remove the mask and look around, then you can decide if this is aligned with your overall goal or vision. But I can already say that it looks like your productivity, positivity, good energy that we're picking up in November is going to bridge over into the next month, and that's a good thing. Let's see what might block you. You know what? It's not that big of a deal. This is actually something you can manage. So for the block between the 2 months, we have the Magician, burning the candle at both ends, literally as illustrated here. but more specifically, a magician lacks focus and faith when reversed. Sometimes they get distracted by all the different articles on the altar. So it's about discernment, faith, and focus. As long as you believe in yourself and trust your intuition, you shouldn't be blocked. Don't allow people to take too much of your time and energy, so let's not burn the candle at both ends. And we actually don't have to overthink this card. It is that simple. The only other thing here is that there might be someone that is trying to manipulate or kind of convince you to do something, but you should be able to see through it. High Priestess and Magician, when reversed, can see the not so subtle or even subtle manipulation. So push back on things that don't feel right, listen to yourself, focus, and don't overextend. Okay? Let's go ahead now, and we're going to take a look at the second month, December, and see how everything is shaping up. So we have the Ace of Cups in reverse. Very interesting energy. The first thing that comes through is only say yes if you mean it. If you don't like something, if it's not good enough, say no, or say, I need more time. Don't commit to something that doesn't resonate. The other thing here is avoid limiting thoughts, particularly around, am I worthy? Am I enough? You're more than enough. But we need to work on that feeling of acceptance and confidence. If we zoom in really closely, you can see the feather. This is your moment. You deserve to be happy right now. And you may need to articulate what you like or don't like. That's the reversal. So you can tell someone in any sort of relationship or experience, that makes me feel uncomfortable, or I really enjoy this. That way you're giving them immediate feedback so they know what they need to do and how they need to show up so that you can feel supported. If you're constantly the pleaser, making everyone else happy, it might be important to articulate something, even if it's difficult, that doesn't please you, so that you can find your even footing, so that you can get to that feather light feeling that we see right above the cup there. If you want something, speak up. If you don't want something, set the limit, set the boundary. And if you need to release something, now is the time to do so. You don't have to do it all on your own. Reach out for help if you want to. That's the past influence. And I think that's what could make the beginning of the month just a little bit more challenging. So additional emotional energy is coming through here as we're looking at the present. We have the Five of Pentacles. It is worth noting that the Five of Pentacles is reversed. That to me portends good things, because if we look at the traditional version of the card, it's that feeling of being on the outside looking in, not quite getting the support, the attention, the resources that you need. We've been looking at all of these aces. Again, the Ace of Pentacles reversed, the Ace of Cups reversed, and then we see what's possible here with the Ace of Wands and the Two of Wands, actually. So when you articulate, when you balance things out, you can get through this. This very much is something from the past. So historically, usually when the Five of Pentacles comes through, it harkens back to either something in your youth where you were rejected or didn't get the support that you needed at the time. It can be recent past too, where someone just leaves you feeling like you left me hanging, right? And so your confidence takes a hit. But what we see in this version of the card is that there's always a door or a window that's open. There's another way to do it. And sometimes we need that sense of rejection or that closed door in order to see the one that's open. So are you ready to take that step into something more? This month, don't accept less than your worth. If someone comes through and makes you feel less, if someone comes through and makes you mute your light like we were talking about, you just shine brighter with integrity, with boundaries, with confidence, and say, I don't think so. That's not good enough. I need more. Simple. Not always easy to get out in the moment, but you can say that. That's not good enough. Here's what I need. I'll help you as long as I get this, this, and this. And if there's anyone in your life that you can't fix, that's okay too. Sometimes this can be a familial wound, a parent, a partner, a sibling that just doesn't have the readiness to take the next step towards healing. It's important for you to take care of yourself right now. Do what you can, create boundaries, leave the door open, but there's so much coming through for you, especially as I kind of fast forward into the Wheel of Fortune, that we don't want you to lose track of all this present energy of progress. So in the present, you're going to advocate for more. You're going to reach out for help when you can get it. You're going to step through doors of opportunity. Even if you've been rejected, there's somewhere where the door, the energy, the opportunity is knocking. And this is the key to success, okay? If you're underappreciated, undersupported, one of the things that you really want to do is look for different environments. It might be time to change up the job, the relationship, or the group that you're hanging out with. Part of that involves kind of like taking your shine and bringing it to level 10 like we were talking about. All right, thankfully, everything in December is aligning you to an opportunity. We have the Wheel of Fortune coming through in the future position for December, and this is showing you that even with something that feels limiting, Five of Pentacles, potential is yours to have. So I love that we also see like the hand spinning the wheel or reaching for it. It's okay to roll up your sleeves and make it happen. We have entrepreneurial energy coming through. It's okay to say, I want this or I don't want this. It's good to show when there's a lack of something and say, we need to focus on this. Additionally, the Wheel of Fortune is a lot like the World card. It's a cyclical shift. To get to this cyclical shift, you had to first come through this Eight of Cups. You had to take a step back and say, is it where I want to be? If it is, you can embrace it. If it isn't, you can spin that wheel and say, I want to go there instead. So by the time the end of the year comes through, you are on a new journey, on a new path, embarking on something or releasing something. And just like the World card, this is an expansive card. So change can happen quickly, but there's going to be waves of additional change. The number 10 on the Wheel of Fortune can show that this could take you all the way out 10 weeks or 10 months, and you're going to see the full sort of like effect of all that you're working on 3/4 of a year from now. So it's well worth everything that you're moving towards right now. I really love actually what I've seen in this reading so far. We have 3 aces that showed up. We had 4 eights, and we have this Wheel of Fortune. So the only challenge that I've really seen here is imagination, which we'll talk about in a second, and this sort of confidence from the past, a rejection that hurt a little bit. But as long as you stay focused, as long as you don't get lost in the shuffle, as long as you advocate for yourself, things are going to be all right. Before we move on to this Destiny card, we need to look at the takeaway for December, and it's a quite good takeaway. It's the Two of Wands, but it's reversed. Are you giving yourself ample time to tune in? When was the last time you did a personal audit of where am I at right here and right now? When we're children, we have, our life is kind of divvied up in grades and semesters and milestones and events. As we get older, we have to keep ourselves accountable. We have to tune in. We have to set the parameters. Dream a little bit. Look at your future and ask yourself, what else do I want to do while I'm on this planet in this body? Meditate. I love how this person's standing on top of almost the third eye. This is something I've leaned into much more recently, and it's been amazing. Meditation, especially if you really embrace it, it is a powerful gift. It isn't something that you have to do. It eventually becomes something that you want to do. Speaking of that, some natural ways to connect with Source could just be creativity. Writing, drawing, painting, dancing, building, inventing, imagining. Your creative flow comes from Source. And the more you do something that you love with people that you love, the closer you are to that beautiful energy of the star. And again, both of these cards came through in the spread reversed. So really allowing yourself to just do what brings you that shine, that sparkle, that spark of interest. Not only that, if we look at this card close up, that person's overthinking it. Don't make it more difficult than it needs to be. If you think it's going to be hard, it'll be hard. If you think that it might be easy, it could be easy. When you allow yourself to embrace a potential miracle, the synchronicity and the miracle comes through. Are you ready for a miracle? I know I am. All right, let's see what else is going on here. We're going to take a look at your Destiny card. So this is exactly what I was talking about. It's not all going to be spelled out in black and white. So we have the Eight of Swords here, and it's interesting how they kind of made the swords snakes. So our own limiting thoughts, I don't see it, therefore it can't happen. Or this is all I can be because this is all I have been. These sorts of things are self-fulfilling, and they comprise the swords or the prison of thought that we're creating around ourselves. There's more than meets the eye. With the Two of Swords, I often like to interpret it as It's not obvious. There might be another option, like there's a third path. With the Eight of Swords, it's about going within, and it's saying, am I really seeing the big picture? Because maybe I'm too caught up in what you think. Maybe I'm too caught up in what I think. Am I actually looking at this? So the answer to this 8 is this 8. I need to take a step back. I need to talk to someone else. I need to just get a bird's eye view. It's not as limited, complicated, or sort of like stuck as you might feel like the situation is at present. Ask a question if it doesn't make sense. Also, if you feel like someone's hiding something, move in a different direction. Get the clarity that you need, and you're going to be surprised at how good you feel about the next step. Okay? It's time to open your eyes to something different. Let's expand the forecast. We're going to go into health, wealth, and love and see what else Spirit wants to convey. Health, wealth, and love. All right. Let's begin first with health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. So in the energy of health, we have quality and quantity of sleep coming through as a potential block, and also just how you're managing your stress. We have the Nine of Swords. It was reversed. That is good. That is saying that you realize, I don't want to stress out about this anymore. This person, this place, this thing. So recently I had to take some medication to get through a massive infection, some steroids. It affected my sleep quality for like 10 days. During those 10 days, I meditated for like 2 hours a night so that I could heal my body, clear my head, clear the medicine out of where it didn't need to be, and then get myself into a deeper sleep. You can do that. You can do something like that. If you have insomnia, don't fight it. I just sat there and thought, well, this is medically induced, so I'm just going to sit here and relax in a different way. There are different ways that you can relax the brain and the body. I'll heal myself in a different way. So rather than worry about insomnia, just breathe, focus, and meditate. Have a deep meditation. Turn off all the sort of distractions and go deeper than you've ever gone in meditation before. I might do something in the future for those that are having insomnia. Maybe I'll do longer meditations, whether it's an hour, 2 or 3 or 4. As long as you are awake, I can walk you through some stuff that will help you still wake up and feel refreshed. Because you don't have to necessarily go through all the levels of sleep to still survive if you're just having a night of insomnia. What you really want to work on, though, is releasing, why am I holding on to this thought? The body is amazing. It can heal beyond what you think it can, and the mind is often the thing that is just holding us back. All right, so it's stress management. That's the big thing. Looking at everything on the table, let's break down some high-level things to focus on. I want to talk about this first. 8 of Cups will help you with the 9 of Swords. You can start to feel less stressed when you get some distance from a situation. So if you haven't taken a break in a while, now is the time to do so, because it allows you to get perspective and you're not going to feel like there's the weight of the world on your shoulders, right? Pay attention to how much you're working, and also pay attention to diet and exercise. This is what you're bringing into your body. So if it's stress, if it's work, if it's sugar, if it's caffeine, it needs to be balanced out a little bit. As I said earlier, burning the candle at both ends, literally as we're seeing here, has diminishing returns. The 9 of Swords warns you not to go too much further. Take a break. It's time to take a break. Pay close attention to there's a couple things here with these 2 cards. So the 5 of Pentacles reminds you to be mindful of your foot, ankle, and lower leg. So whether it's circulation, a past injury, etc., you really want to make sure that you're taking care of that. We're also in cold and flu season in many parts of the world, so make sure that you're taking care of your respiratory health as well. And when you're walking, that you're not multitasking because you can slip and slide. This is about auditory and visual sort of challenges, stuff that I just went through. So if you're feeling a sense of fullness, so this is how I knew there was a problem. It was fullness followed by hearing loss, very scary, for no apparent reason. It was sudden and there was no pain. So I had to go to a doctor to kind of like sort through what was going on, and then work through both the medical and then the energetic part, because it is, I look at this holistically, mind, body, and spirit. So you want to embrace both. Standard disclaimers apply here. I am not a doctor, but I actually combine the combination of the Eastern and Western in my own life because I feel like that's a lot healthier. It's a lot happier. And you're working at it from the best of both worlds. But yeah, if something doesn't feel right, go to an audiologist. If your ears aren't feeling great, go to an ENT. Go to an ophthalmologist. Make sure that you're going to the right doctor. And also, there may be something that isn't obvious. I had to go to 4 or 5 different doctors and take multiple tests to figure out where the infection was. So I treated the infection, then I worked on the energetic part because it is a 2-part system. Anyway, for you, there could be something very similar. A cold or flu, an infection, you want to make sure it's all right. Get a second opinion if you don't vibe with the doctor, also really important. We have favorable cards here on both months. Ace of Wands, 2 of Wands. Clarity comes through. Let me see if there's anything else that we need to focus on. Just some heavier emotions, particularly in December. And it makes sense. There's a lot of family events. It's the end of the year. You know, the heart may be dealing with a little bit more, so make sure that you're tuning in. And be compassionate towards yourself and towards others. Okay? I think the hardest thing is just forgiving ourselves sometimes because we get so pulled into the emotions of everything. All right, we got a trickier card for wealth, but it's all right. I'm here to walk you through it. It is reversed. That is favorable. In wealth, we have the 7 of Swords. When the card is reversed, you can see through the illusion. Here's your traditional version. Someone's trying to distract you or get away with something. Or it can just be someone that says they're going to do something and doesn't. With the card in reverse, your spidey senses are going to go up and you're going to know, I don't think I want to work with this person. I don't think I want to sign that contract. Or legitimately, you didn't follow through. Why? So you're going to call out any sort of contract. What would be the best word here? If someone fails the contract, deviation. And also anything that you're looking at where it's like, no, that's not right. So don't sign a contract you don't agree with. Hold people accountable to their promises. And make sure that you make promises that you can keep. And if you can't, don't say that you're going to do it. Keep your promises. Also, in the background, we see people that are distracted, and that allows this person to get away with that. So don't let something take your mind off of what matters most. Don't be diverted. Don't be distracted. Let's begin with those that have a job. If you're currently employed, here's what I see. November looks good. You may need to travel a little bit to complete a deal or just to kind of take care of yourself. Getting distance from a situation is ideal, is necessary, is going to help you from burning out, from getting sick, from also missing what we just talked about, which is something that may not be worth your time and energy. If you need some help, ask. You have a good chance of getting it. Make sure everything is documented and put into writing. Take time in both November and December for brainstorming and working on your sort of passion projects. Ideation, new ideas, creativity, both months really, really strong. I would say December is the more challenging month for those that are employed. If you don't take care of your health, you might get sick. If you get dragged into something that was basically more complicated than you were led to believe, it's important at the very beginning of December to raise your hand and say, wait a second, I think we're going to need a lot more help to get this done. So don't pull yourself in a direction that doesn't make sense. You can, and I would argue will be able to overcome this, especially with the Wheel of Fortune here as the future state for December. So boundaries, authenticity, and not just authenticity, but making sure that people are honest when it comes to contracts. Integrity, that was the word I was looking for. That's key. Only make a promise if you can keep it, and make sure that other people keep their promises. There's something in December that could slide by or fall under the radar, so make sure that you have a second set of eyes and ears looking at important documents. Overall, pretty good, and we see growth and development in both months, but this is the month, December, where your health or your finances or your schedule is just a little bit tighter, so you want to make sure that you're not overdoing it. Okay, overall, good. But one last thing, when it comes to a contract, don't sign it if you don't agree with it, okay? Entrepreneurs. I like the energy of November, but one thing that may be important over the course of this month is to take a step back and to make sure that if there's something that you've been meaning to deliver on, that this is the time to do so. Before you get started on something new, because right before that so you have to go back and complete and then deliver or then start something new so that you don't get distracted, so that you don't overextend. I feel like overall you're good here. There could be something that goes to print or to production during the month of November, and everything looks great. The star card in reverse is showing me that for some of you, there may not be as much visibility in your marketing as you normally would have. And so it's important to find organic ways to stand out a little bit more and make sure that people are paying attention to all that you have to offer. As we take a look at December, for those of you that are entrepreneurs, this is the month to be mindful. You may have to pull back a little bit on how much you're giving of your time and energy. If there's something that isn't producing, you might have to take it out of production, and make sure that you're doing projections into the next year. A couple of quarters more than you normally would, because there's a lot changing. It's happening fast. You want to make sure that you're keeping up with the changes in a timely fashion. If you missed something, just own up to it. Whatever is going on, like honesty and integrity, can't be underestimated, like the importance of them. And if you have to convey something to your customers, like this just isn't possible because of, something going on in the economy or the world at large, just say that and apologize, and then figure out what that plan is going to be. There may be an unexpected idea that comes through in December, and make sure that you're documenting all of this. I think that you're getting a lot of amazing starts, like great things that are going to come through in the new year. Keep planting the seeds. The production, whatever's already in production, looks like it's fine. Again, just make sure that you're taking time to align with all of this and know that you're not getting lost in the shuffle. Because sometimes even when you're an entrepreneur, you're wearing so many hats that you miss a moving piece. When it comes to your finances, make sure that from a tax and a regulation perspective, everything is completely where it needs to be. Job seekers, you have a great chance of aligning to a job in November. For November, there's one that requires a move. There's another one that is going to maybe be more of a stretch opportunity. You may not get the title or the pay that you want, but you're going to learn a lot, and you might really like the environment. In December, it's a little bit trickier. I do see something coming through. It's probably towards the end of the month. So if you find yourself job seeking in December, don't give up, and don't forget to apply that last week. Even though that's typically when all the holidays are, you never know who's working, and you never know who might be checking email. There might be something that percolates in the last couple weeks of this month, or of this year too. Yes. The next place that you go to, really drill into what their vision for their company is and your role. Come with that question. Where do you see me? Not just where do I see myself, but where do you see this role and how do you see it evolving? And come with having done your homework. Students, both months, really good. I feel actually like you're getting a lot out of this experience right now. I think one of the things that's important is that there's enough either fun, creativity, or artistic things in the mix here, and that you're giving yourself a chance to look at how it's all going to map out in the future. So rather than having a meeting with your boss, with your professor, like at the end of your sort of course of education, talk to them at the beginning and say, this is how I want to make a difference in the world, or this is what I want to be doing by this age. What do I need to do to line up? What are the experiences? How did you do it? Ask the questions so that you're not already having graduated and decided well, now what? Also, because the job market has changed so much, I think you really need to be looking a couple of years prior to graduation to align to that job opportunity. It's never too early to look. This is the time also for internship seeking right now for next year. Please do me a favor with this candle card and with this Five of Pentacles. Don't overwork yourself in December. Take a step back. Take care of yourself. Students in particular, with that Seven of Swords in reverse, it's all about academic integrity. Cite your sources when necessary. Make sure that if you see someone or know someone that's taking a shortcut or trying to convince you to do something that you shouldn't, that you don't get involved with that at all. Seven of Swords will come back, especially when it's reversed, and haunt you, so you just want to say no and separate yourself from those types of individuals. Overall, good energy, and I really love these two, like the Ace of Wands and the Two of Wands. You're getting what you paid for. Stay focused. Finally, retirees. In the month of November, if you can take a trip, a break, or some sort of a retreat, do so. You could also decide to create a curriculum or some sort of experience, and people may want to connect with you as a mentor. I see a lot of interest around that, teaching opportunities. Whether or not you want to work, people are interested in connecting with you. Again, a general note around health, well-being, and finances. Many of you are also just looking at your finances and deciding, do I have enough? So maybe this is why you're looking at a potential part-time job, just so you don't have to dig into IRAs and retirement. And I do think that you can make something work if you're looking for that. There's always a question of like, the story is never done, especially for retirees. The Wheel of Fortune is saying there's a whole new golden chapter in front of you if you want to do something different. It's just a question of where you see yourself, all right? Now let's move on to the next category, which is love and relationships. And wow, we have a really beautiful card here coming through for love. So we have Five of Cups, but look at how bright that energy is. We see someone finally breaking through the sadness, the mourning, the emotional period that is so often a part of the Five of Cups. They're leaving the Three Cups behind and focusing instead on what's in front of them. And that one cup almost reminds me of an hourglass. It's time. It's your time to be happy. If you choose to if you choose to embrace it. But for some of you, you've come through a period of difficulty, of mourning, and now is a shift. So let's take a look now and see how it's going to break down in the different categories. Before I do that, look at Apollo behind me. I got to give him a little scratch on the belly. Let's begin with those of you that are currently in a partnership. So if you're partnered, here's something that's really interesting. You could be entering into a new level in this partnership. Let's say you've been together for a while, but you haven't made it like long-term, exclusive, or official. This can represent a proposal and getting something in writing. And also really just understanding that this is the one that you were looking for. So there's a lot of beautiful synchronicities, particularly in the month of December for existing partnerships. Now, if you're already married, one of the partners may actually be experiencing some growth or shift, some sort of shifting energy when it comes to work. And I think this is something to celebrate too. So make sure that you take time to really celebrate in this accomplishment. Major shifts and movement coming through. There is a general desire or wish for a little bit more intimacy or personal time. That's why I've got the Ace of Wands here. Travel, work, and other things going on in your life could be pulling one or both of you in different directions. Slow down, make time for each other. In December, it looks like, again, there could be some challenges with general health or finances. This is the time to lean on each other. I do think you're going to be able to solve this together, but what we want to avoid is making something either more contentious than it needs to be or focusing too much on would have, could have, should have. It does look like there's a silver lining, and as long as you light the way on this, I think that the two of you can kind of get through any situation. The Magician in reverse is kind of interesting for relationships because I feel like it has more to do with this fear of just saying what you need to say, like putting it out there so it's a little bit masked or it's a little bit sort of like muted. And if there's something that you need or want, just put it out there. 3 different aces shows me a lot of things going on in your life right now. So juggling the relationship and making sure that it's still center stage like it needs to be sometimes, I think that's going to be the hard thing. Be compassionate to yourself and others. But overall, this is manageable. If there has been anything in your life that's been challenging, there are enough silver linings that I feel like together the two of you can work through this. Moving on to single and looking. Can you find love? Absolutely. One of the partnerships that I see here is past life, or maybe even just someone from your past in this life. And this time around, it seems like it's more kind of like aligned. The key thing here is whoever you're pulling into your life, they need to be comfortable with you now. It feels like you've found a way to shine or sparkle or be yourself. As I said before, we don't want to hold that back or dim it. So make sure that someone is comfortable with you being you, and you don't have to change for them. I see in December a lot more introspective work. It'll be a little bit harder to make something land. So November's the best time, but in December, if you find someone, you need to pull back a little bit and create some space. Make sure that your health and your finances are where they need to be. I think the second part of the month, leading into, we should say like the latter part leading into the new year, is going to be the best time to meet someone. You either feel the spark or you don't. Don't fake it if you don't feel it, for sure, okay? So up to 3 different people. But of those 3, there's just one where there's a spark. So know yourself. Know that even if other people think that it looks good on paper, but it doesn't feel good for you, that's not the right person for you. By the way, places that you might meet people out and about. This is a card of traveling, so it's not so much about them finding you, but possibly a synchronistic meeting while you're traveling. This is a card connected to school, work, and activities. So as you're engaged in things that really connect with who you are and what you want to do, you have a good chance of meeting someone. And again, really front-loaded here in the month of November. In December, for many of you, I feel like the focus is just elsewhere. But if you do meet somebody, I feel like, again, it could be someone who is kind of in the background. So this is a time to slow down, take a look around you, and see if someone isn't trying to get your attention, because the mask could just be that person hiding. And again, we see a little bit more focus on self and business and work. And so it may just be a little harder to make the connection in December. Put it in November if you're single and looking. Single and happy. So much that you can do in this period of time. You can finish something that you've been wanting to finish for a long time. You have multiple opportunities for personal development and still making some connections. A visibility opportunity as well. Someone wants to spend some time with you or talk to you or interview you. There's something great on the horizon here. And then in December, the main focus here is on creating better balance, particularly in your money, your schedule, and how you value and worth and see your self-worth rather. Give yourself time to plan. So I'm looking at like a soul chart and also like just a goal for the year ahead. Really make sure that you're not shorting yourself of that opportunity. Let's go ahead and look at the final question, final card for today. Put your mind to whatever that question might be. Let me give the cards a shuffle, and let's see what Spirit has to say. You received 9 of Cups in reverse. Here's the interesting thing. 9 of Cups is a wish fulfillment card. So one thing that I see here, if you're trying to do something, is don't give up. Your thoughts manifest. So if you believe it's possible, you find a way. Where there's a will, there's a way, and if you can believe it, you can see it. There may be too much emotional attachment. Look at that 1 cup that spilled over. In order to really kind of like embrace this thing that you might be trying to connect with, I feel like just a sense of a little bit of detachment could help. Don't make a major decision when you're in the throes of an emotional high or low, because when it feels like it's the best day ever, sometimes you're not cautious enough. When something hasn't worked out, you may be looking too critically at what's going on, and we want to get somewhere closer to the middle. But what I see here is, even if the wish didn't manifest in the past, today is a new day, and something has changed. Open your heart, ground yourself, get the perspective that we talked about in the 8 of Cups, and then I think you're going to be able to see a way to see that wish to fruition, that wish fulfillment here, okay? What a magical reading. It was fun working with this new deck too. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did like this, do me a favor, 100% free, really helps. Could you please like and subscribe, and also use that share button and let people know about this video. Likewise, give me a follow on social media. That way, when I do a special seasonal video, a lunar one, or anything else that isn't part of the regular schedule, you'll get a notification. You can also show some support through a sticker in your comment or becoming a member. And for those of you that aren't really part of YouTube that much, you can do it via PayPal. My PayPal URL, it's the same. It's my name on every platform, Nicholas Ashbaugh. All of these links are on the main YouTube page in the content area below, and also on my website, which is nicholasashbaugh.com. So from both Apollo, who's now sleeping, and yours truly, thank you so much for being present today, for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. I appreciate you. I hope you got some value from this reading, and I thank you so much for your time. I'll see you soon.